been wearing these jeans every day for 2 weeks now. They're just comfortable.
These are freshly washed, and they are tight.
Febreze. You don't wash jeans. You wear them out.
Man, I don't know. I get some serious butt sweat going.
All right, let's show some records here. Okay, so this is a vinyl update, including some record runs to the St. Louis show that we alluded to in our last video. We said we're leaving for that in about 4.5 hours as we filmed.
Yeah, that was rough.
And it was a little bit rough, and it was kind of a down show.
Yeah.
I kind of said our luck streak to a certain extent ended, but we got some good finds. They're worth seeing. I was excited to hear about your stuff.
Yeah.
You said you were excited to hear about my stuff.
For
so
sure.
let's
Absolutely.
tell the world. Let's tell the internet here.
All right.
I'm going to pull, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 records. These are records I didn't pay for. I got them from the collection. I pilfered them from the collection of one Mello Yello who was gave me the opportunity to grab them before he basically gave them away in a big purge. So he gave them away to me. As I've mentioned before, I am somewhat a slave to the Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list. I at least try to listen to all of those, if not own them. So War, The World is a Ghetto, I actually enjoyed this. I wasn't planning on not enjoying it, but I enjoyed it even more than I thought I would. I thought I would think it was good, and I thought it was good plus. Prince, 1999. I didn't particularly care for 75% of this record. Tracks 1, 2, 3, side 1 of disc 1, pretty good listen. After that, Diminishing Returns. Just not a big Prince guy. I just don't get it. Eurythmics Touch, I think it is number 500 on the 500 Greatest Albums of All Time of the 2003 edition, which is the list I tend to go off of. But I spun it, and again, I enjoyed it maybe a little bit more than I thought I would. I'm just 80s techno pop. Not really my thing. Police, Reggatta de Blanc. This one I was actually really happy to grab as I'm a big Police dude. So, 4 records there. Didn't pay anything for them. Glad to have them. Thank you very much, Mello Yello. Your purge benefited a long lost child.
Oh, you're welcome. There you go. The psych professor, Sam had been texting me for like weeks about this album. This is Farquhar. Self-titled album. It is on the Electra 4000 series. It's kind of country, right? I mean, is that
it's a little bit folk psych. Yeah. Okay. Not really my thing.
He didn't like it. He was trying to get me to trade my straight razor for this that I got as a wedding gift.
I'm a man pamper enthusiast.
He is. And he has a beard. He can grow one. I can't. Why have a straight razor for? I'm afraid to use the thing. I don't want to slice my neck open and die.
I want it.
So he tried to get me to trade that for this, and I didn't do it, and so he showed up for the record show and was like, here, you can just have this. So adding to my 4000 series collection. There you go. At this show, it was a little bit, like Sam said, a little bit of a kind of a slow show, not a lot to pick from. So average price is actually a little bit higher for me because I did pony up on 2 albums that I paid a little bit more for. So average price on these is about $7, give or take. Some of these aren't worth that, this being one of them. The Mason Williams Ear Show. The cover looked cool, it caught my attention, I grabbed it in a cheap bin. But it's kind of country stuff, pretty straightforward country, folk. Not big into this, so I may not be keeping this. There you go.
This one for me was a $1 pickup from our good friend Brian, Imperial Bedroom. Elvis Costello and the Attractions. I do not like it as much as I like earlier Elvis Costello stuff. In general, I think most people kind of feel like there's a period of Elvis Costello that you gravitate to. But I do like this. I enjoyed it, not as much as the early stuff. But it's a good record, and for $1, I wasn't going to pass it up. Another one of those 500 Greatest Albums of All Time things. So, padding that collection, enjoyed the music quite a bit. I'll definitely keep spinning this one. For $1, couldn't pass it up.
All right, you know we are big Donovan fans, and that's my DJ name is DJ Mello Yello. So this was Donovan Like It Is. One I wasn't familiar with, but really like the cover. It's kind of some cool cover art there on the front.
Oh, yeah.
And on the back, even the black and white. Turns out it's a compilation. This is on Hickory, and it's a compilation of his folk stuff, like earlier Donovan folky stuff. So not a huge fan of stuff that's on here, but there are some good tracks. And just because I am a Donovan fan, I'll probably hold on to this one. It's worth it for the cover art too. So yeah,
it's a little bit of a stretch to call my next find here Psychedelia, but
cool.
Psycho Candy, Jesus and Mary Chain. This is sort of more of my 80s new wave kick, way more than Eurythmics. I'm going to go for this stuff. And I really do buy into the critical perception that Psycho Candy is a little bit industrial rock mixed with some Beach Boys-esque harmonies, and that's really where it gets me. I love the opening track, Just Like Honey. Everything else on it is good and worth listening to, but that's essentially the reason I purchased this album. Also because it's a promo, and I like promos, and I paid Brian $12 for this, which is probably, it was what I was comfortable paying for it. I'm kind of getting a little bit more into that new wave industrial stuff. I like it.
Yeah, cool stuff, man. This is one I bought, again, in a cheap bin, like $2 or $3. It's one I see in every booth at the St. Louis Record Show, and prices vary from $2 to like 30. So finally I was just like, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to see what this is, figure it out. This is Mason Prophet. I'm going to open this gatefold because I never really noticed this.
That back cover
is
terrifying.
This is the stuff of nightmares. This is basically, it's like Southern rock, country rock stuff. And it actually wasn't too bad. The best track on here is called Two Hangmen. Apparently it was kind of their big hit, and the reason for the cover art here, and it's the story of two hangmen. But it was really good. It had a kind of a nice rocky vibe to it. I don't know, I kind of dug it, and for a cheap find, this was alright. It was like cleaning this at night by myself upstairs, and my room upstairs is really dark at night, and I was like cleaning the front, and I flipped it over and was like, oh god, alright.
If I have a regret purchase from the St. Louis Record Show, it's this one. And I don't regret owning this, I regret my approach to purchasing it. Aretha Franklin's I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. Great album. It was in the shrink wrap but not sealed. But I mean, this cover is just immaculate. So good. And I made that rookie mistake of cover looks great, record must be great too. Record is not in that great a shape. It's playable. No scratches that prevent tracks from being enjoyable, but a lot of surface noise. You live, you learn.
That's
in
right.
The record buying business.
This is Canned Heat's Collage, a greatest hits compilation. I have pretty much all of their studio albums as far as I know. I might be missing one, but why not? Sure, I'll have the greatest hits as well. When you just want to hear the good stuff, and when you want to hear the killer, no filler, put on the greatest hits.
This next one that I actually grabbed with that Aretha Franklin. So I bundled them, and they were a little bit cheaper than sticker price. This one is not a terribly hard album to find, although I don't see it as much as you might think for an album that sold as well as it did. Inner Visions, Stevie Wonder, and this thing is super, super clean too, and it's a Spanish pressing.
It's cool.
Got it for $5, which is less than your average price for it. It's in really good shape. Yeah. It's good music. It is a little bit psych in some places from Stevie Wonder. Lots of good stuff on this album. And I'm not a huge Stevie Wonder guy, but I think there's some mid-70s gold.
All right, getting into a little bit better stuff here. This is the Animals. The Animals on tour. I love the Animals. Great blues rock. Yeah, good stuff though.
It's really, really warm in here, and I want to take this hat off, but I have like chicken hair.
I was on my way to get a haircut the day I got sick. Oh. I was 10 minutes away from the haircut place, and my gut was just like, bruh. I barely made it home in time.
Photo finish, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. And now I'm 10 days, and at that point I was like a week behind going to the haircut, and now I'm almost 3 weeks behind, and it's terrible.
I love my current barbers.
Yeah.
Talk about
shout them out.
Lockhart's Barbershop. Go see Gorgeous George, and oh my gosh, I just forgot the other guy's name. Oh,
he's gonna give you a bad haircut.
He is. No, I love those guys. I really, really do. Lockhart's on Main Street in D-Town. I've never gotten a better haircut.
Great clips. Litchfield, Illinois. Hit and miss.
Music from Big Pink. Debut album from the band. Nice gatefold pressing of it. $5. I have to say that while the cover of this album is unconventional and that's appreciated, the rest of the artwork is really, really lacking. I've always kind of think that they got to the artwork on this one and it was just like a second thought. Like there's a picture of the house, Big Pink, And then there's a picture of the guys in sort of like 1920s garb.
Yeah.
And then there's this weird like family photo looking thing. I don't get it. And then the back is fairly standard as well, with I believe the same photo of the house, maybe cropped a little bit. I of course like the music on Music from Big Pink.
Yeah.
I think the
Good album.
album itself could be a little bit better packaged. This is really my prize pickup of the show. Otis Blue. This is a first mono pressing on Volt Records. And I, again, same guy we've gone to for the last few shows. Call him Holy Grail guy, but he's really, really nice. He's always been incredibly willing to deal with us as far as bargains go. He gave me a great deal on this record, so I paid a little bit less than what it's worth, and to me it's worth quite a bit. I'm huge, huge, huge on Otis Redding, and this is the best Otis Redding album if you ask me. So Otis Blue, you just can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
Good stuff.
Pick it up.
This is an album I don't hear talked about ever, really, in terms of live albums or even Van Morrison's output. This is Van Morrison. It's Too Late to Stop Now, a live album recorded in the summer of 1973. 2 disc, 2 LP set, really nice, thick, big trifold kind of packaging. I love Van Morrison, and I just am surprised I haven't heard as much about this album. Van Morrison can't go wrong. So.
All right, so I also had a chance to finally get up to Reverberation vinyl in Bloomington. Met the guy behind the counter, Steve, awesome dude. Walked in, I said, I've got 39 minutes to be here, Steve, and I'm looking for Psych. And he said, you came to the right place. Little pickup here, the box tops, don't have this one. The Letter, of course, Alex Chilton. Awesome vocal by the 16-year-old. $5. It's in real good shape. It's the Bell Records pressing. Box tops.
Fantastic.
Must-own record if you're into Psych.
Oh, for sure. I've got all St. Louis Record Show finds here. So next up for me, Nielsen Schmielsen. I actually thought I owned this album for at least a year and a half, and went to pull it out one night for our show and couldn't find it and realized I didn't own it at all. Yeah, Harry Nilsson, Essential album. I mean, I really like this album a lot. Yeah, essential for Nielsen fans and just essential anyway. I think this is a fantastic album, top notch.
So still Reverberation vinyl. This was a $4 pickup, and this album typically goes for average of somewhere in the teens on Discogs.
Mm-hmm.
This is The Illusion, their self-titled record. Check out that cover too. Those dudes are awesome. I love it. It's on Steed Records, which is a label I'm not all that familiar with, but it is bluesy pop psych, so it is up several of my alleys.
Yeah, definitely.
Really like this. The Illusion. Check it out. The opening track, Did You See Her Eyes? Really cool jam. For $4, couldn't pass up The Illusion.
This is one I actually went into the show hoping to find. I had it written in my phone on a note to kind of keep an eye out for this. This is the Ventures Super Psychedelics. I've been getting into a little bit of the Ventures kind of trippier output, if you can call it that, but they've got a couple albums from that mid to late 60s period where psychedelia was kind of in its heyday that they were definitely cashing in on. And this is one that normally goes for a little bit on Discogs and eBay, around 15, 20 bucks, which for a Ventures album is quite a bit. And I found this for like $3 in a bin. And it's really clean, it's really good. They do some covers, of course. Strawberry Fields Forever and Happy Together are the 2 big hits that they cover. And then they've got some originals, Vibrations, Psyched Out, Psychedelic Venture. They're all really trippy, really cool, really fun, kind of surfy psychedelia. Good stuff.
Donovan, Sunshine Superman. It is, as far as I can tell, it is a first pressing on Epic. And I paid, well, it was listed at $7, but I did some bundling here. And I probably would have even paid a little bit more than $7 for it. But to get it for a little bit less than $7, I was really, really pleased. And of course, has Season of the Witch on it, and Sunshine Superman, The Trip, Guinevere, Ferris Wheel, 3 Kingfishers. This one is just
We've
awesome.
played just about every track
We
from
really
on
have
the show.
a must-have album, but Sunshine Superman, can't believe I'm holding this clean of a first pressing.
Superman and Green Lantern ain't got nothing on you. Alright, this is Kangaroo, self-titled. Has some water damage at the bottom, unfortunately. But again, this was one of those shows where we were having some trouble finding some stuff, and even blind buys were hard to come by. And saw this in a guy's bin. I think he had this for $10. and another album I'm going to show later. But I bundled both for like 15, so I got this for about $7. The song on here, Daydream Stallion. Fantastic psychedelic song. The rest of the album is sort of a pop psych vein. It's good stuff. Barbara Keith is in this group. Went on to have kind of a solo career and a career with her own group, but really good pop psych. I really like this a lot, and Daydream Stallion was worth the $7 for this album alone.
Also from Reverberation vinyl, got a little bit of Blue Cheer here, new and improved. Mello Yello says this is his favorite Blue Cheer album, so I had to grab it for $4, and again I bundled, so even a little cheaper than that. Side 2, definitely better than Side 1.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. But an awesome psych album, power psych.
Yeah. Randy Holden was the guitarist on this album, his only Blue Cheer album, and it's just on Side 2 that he plays guitar on. And he was in a psychedelic group called The Other Half, had his own solo psych album that's super obscure and super rare called Population 2. But for $4, that's a steal, man. I mean, that's like $15 to $20 album.
A little bit of ringware, but minimal. I think just enough to let you know it's an older copy, which sometimes is kind of nice. I mean, you don't want it there, but it doesn't bother you.
Exactly. This is Morning Glory. Again, bundled this with the Kangaroo album. The album is called Two Suns Worth. This was just a blind buy for me. Jelly Gas Flame is the one track to seek out on this album. It's really good, really cool psych, kind of deep psych. And the rest is in a really nice pop psych vein. It's on Fontana. Usually, if it's on Fontana, I'll take a chance on it. I think it's a great label, and they had some cool albums on it. And for $7, it was worth a blind buy at this show. So
this from the dollar bin at Reverberation, Spirit, self-titled, can't beat that.
Not at all,
deal.
man.
And this was sort of before Randy California took over as the main songwriting influence. So same vibe as other Spirit, later Spirit works, but a little bit of a different feel overall. Same vibe, different feel.
I've got 2 finds left, and they're both ones that I paid up a little bit of money for, and I'm cheap, and it was just one of those shows that I wanted to leave with something good.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave with something top notch. This is the Id, the Inner Sounds of the Id. Jerry Cole, famed session musician, played on Pet Sounds as well as many other albums, put together a band of other session guys, wrote a whole bunch of material, and put together this group called the Id. Paul Arnold is credited as the producer and gets songwriting credit on most of this stuff as well, but I think it was probably just contractual. This was recorded in parts of 65 and 66, released in very early 67. It tanked, it didn't go anywhere. After the band kind of disbanded and didn't do anything else, Paul Arnold ran off with master tapes and all the other material that they had written and recorded and sold them to anybody and everybody that would buy them and release them on albums. So stuff like The Animated Egg is apparently culled from stuff from these sessions.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, all kinds of different exploitation albums that you see pop up allegedly have most of their material from these recording sessions, which is really cool. But this is actually a really good album on its own. A couple of the tracks are just straight pop, but it has a really nice, deep, weird psych feel to it. And this is an album you don't find very often. It's expensive when you do find it. He was asking like $60 for this. I offered him $30 and he took it. So I was really happy with that. Check this out. Really good early psych album. Cool stuff.
This is an upgrade copy for me. Pink Floyd's Ummagumma if you're an American, or Ummagumma if you're a Brit. But my current copy of this, I paid $8 for, probably $8 or $9 for. This one was marked at $8, and it's much cleaner. The note on it says, live album nicer than studio. Considering the fact that I like the live album on this much more than I care for the studio album, I was okay with that. And both of the albums, both discs, are an upgrade for me, and I'm happy to own this much better copy of it.
Alright, this is my last album to show tonight. This is Them, featuring Here Comes the Night. This was on my want list for a very long time, and I'd never seen a copy in person. I tried to bundle that Id record and this together, and I tried to get him to give me both for $50, and he just wouldn't budge, so I just bought the Id record. We loaded up our van, and I had my coat on, and I was walking out the door, and I was like, I gotta go back and see if I can get that Them album. He had it marked at $60 as well. I was like, would you take 30? I'm walking out the door, and he was like, all right, I'll let it go for 30. You know, I'm really grateful to Holy Grail guy, Scott, for letting this one go at a good price. and a price that I was happy paying, even though it's one that I don't normally spend that much money on any album, let alone 2 in one show. But yeah, really fantastic. This is a holy grail for me.
Kind of feel like Mello Yello's growing up a little bit. These big boy prices.
Well, and I did make some money at the show too. I can't lie about that. So I had a little bit extra cash than usual.
By the way, everything I got at Reverberation, I put it down on the table and said, I'll pay you $25 for this. And the guy said, yeah, I'm cool with that. So $25 plus a couple bucks in tax.
Yeah.
I got 6 albums. I was really, really happy with
Nice.
that. Then I headed over to North Street Records, which is in downtown Normal. Had a couple good finds there, including this. First pressing of King of the Delta Blues Singers Volume 2. I'm a big blues guy. And of course, if you want to go back to some of the roots of blues and blues music, you gotta have Robert Johnson. $15, really excited about that. And then in the exact same bin, another copy of Satanic Majesty's Request. This one is hologram cover with the gatefold, Maze untouched.
Which is nice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is one of the great gatefolds of all time, I think. As I've said before, and I said on our last video, this is one of my favorite records that I discovered last year. I find it to be incredibly underrated record by the Rolling Stones. The day I went up to Bloomington, Mello Yello texted me, hey, I just got a hologram cover of Satanic Majesty's Request for $10.50 online. Woot! And my jealousy I was boiling. And, well, I found one that day. So they are out there. So Mello Yello ran and he got his copy, and he got a nice copy of it too, I think.
I got this on eBay, $10 plus $3 shipping, so about 13 total. And I was more than happy with that.
I do want to make sure though that we don't cross the streams, because we could get put into a
Oh,
parallel
that's
dimension.
true. Oh no.
Ghostbusters joke. That kind of wraps up our record video though. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and to check out our radio show, The Psychedelic Experience, which airs 8 to 10 p.m. every Thursday evening on WJMU Radio in Decatur, Illinois. And you can find us online as well by simply Googling WJMU, or find our show on our Facebook page by searching The Psychedelic Experience 895 in the Facebook search. We're out, YouTube. Thanks.